Now, in the Western Cape, Philippi police are investigating 7 counts of attempted murder after a shooting incident that left 7 teens aged between 14 and 18 wounded in Hanover Park last night. Let's now go to our reporter Nasiphi, who joins us live from Hanover Park. Nasiphi, gun violence continuing to rear its ugly head once again on the Cape Flats. What's the situation now?
Well, if you remember that Hanover Park is no stranger to gun violence, as the Cape Flats, where Hanover Park forms part of, is one of the communities that have been trying to get a grip on the escalating violence that we've seen playing out in this community. And as you put it yesterday, 7 teens falling victim to gun violence, and we understand that police, as you put it, are currently investigating 7 counts of attempted murder. What we do know is that it happened around 9 o'clock yesterday evening at Galilee Walk. But to talk to us further about perhaps the incident and perhaps even the motive behind the shooting, I'm joined by a crime activist here in Hanover Park, Mansoor Aransa. We see a number of community members behind you. But, first reaction to what transpired yesterday, 7 teens between the ages of 14 and 18 shot, and we understand that some of them are currently in hospital.
Yes, some of them are currently in hospital, and it's very sad because all of these kids are innocent and no affiliation to gangs. So yeah, the community is up in arms because if we don't going to stand up for our kids, who is going to? Because the police is definitely not doing their job. So yeah, we're going to go to the victim's family to show our support, and then we're going to figure out a plan where the community can be more active into getting this trigger-happy guys out of our community.
Mansoor, these are teens. We used to speak before that the issue of gun violence is quite prevalent in Hanover Park.
Yes, it's quite violent. It's like a norm every day. But most of the time, the gangsters is shooting the gangsters. But now, all the innocent kids in the stray bullets. So who are we not to stand up for our own? We can't live in fear forever, and we will not accept this as a norm. So we're taking our streets back.
Mansoor, when you say taking your streets back, what does that entail?
By taking our streets back, we can get the names of the gangsters quick, the shooters quick. Then we go fetch them out of their mother's house and drop them by the police station. If the police station, because something needs to budge, something needs to happen. We can't wait for another 7 or 8 innocent kids to die because we need to have a strategic plan, and we're going to discuss this plan amongst the community, how we're going to make an impact. I would say we can fail. We can try and fail, but we're never going to fail to try.
Mansoor, you're speaking of community members here that are willing to reclaim the streets of Hanover Park. But a couple of weeks ago, we saw a very concerning video of, residents of Hanover Park also, attacking law enforcement officers who are conducting their job. How do you then navigate this when one side of the community wants to reclaim the streets and another is protecting gangsters and hiding firearms?
Yeah, that's a totally different story, because it's not like you're not from the community. So I won't say all the police, I won't say, because it's always to say good excluded, but most of the police are corrupt. And that is why this gangsters has no respect for some of the police, because they're dealing and wheeling amongst each other. So that incident where you saw them attacking the police, and they have their own deals and wheels and making their own stuff under the tables. And that is what's happening in our community right now, because people lost their respect because of too much corrupt police officers.
And then Mansoor, the other half, or a section of the community that is not willing to jump on board in reclaiming these streets you speak of, that are hiding the firearms. How do you convince them to be on this side that you are on?
We are going to convince them because I think this is getting now out of hand. Even they that keep the guns is asking now, where does the guns come from? Because you can't just, no merchant or drug dealer that I know of makes ammunition or makes guns in their yards. The guns has to come from somebody. So where does it come from? It's much deeper than what you think it is, because where does the guns come from? Police bring the guns in the area. I'm not saying all of it, but that is what happens. And people, it's getting so out of hand. That kids of last night was in their own yard. They weren't on the streets where stray bullets hit them. They were shot at in their yard while they were sitting and having a good time with their friends. Young teenagers, and they were just shot on. So that means it can happen to anybody. You can walk into my home and shoot my kids. And so it wouldn't be too hard to convince them, because if you have open eyes, you can see it's getting totally out of hand now.
And Mansoor, this allegation or claim that there are guns being pumped into Hanover Park, why do you think that is?
In fact, not into Hanover Park, into the whole of Cape Flats, because it's happening everywhere. So I mean, where does this, it has to be pumped from somewhere. It can't just miraculously disappear here on the streets. Guns go in and come. They can make videos of how they confiscated the guns, but they don't make public viewing of how they're destroying the guns. That same guns that the police show you how many guns they took off the street, that same guns end up back on the streets.
Mansoor, why do you think that is, that the Cape Flats, as you're claiming, is being pumped with firearms and ammunition?
My personal opinion is we're getting marginalized. It's almost like they don't care about us anymore. Not the government, nothing. Is kill yourselves and be on drugs. We are God-fearing people now. But to have kids not employed and to have kids, an idle mind is a dangerous mind. So to have kids having to do nothing, unemployment rate is high, everything is high, drugs is readily available. I mean, where does the drugs come? Guns is readily available. How can a 14-year-old get a firearm? I'm just so, they're just throwing us away, and we are going to have to fend for ourselves.
We'll have to leave it there. Mansoor Arendse there, a crime activist in Hanover Park, saying that this community is not only bleeding, but they now have to fend for themselves. A myriad of challenges faced by this community, similar to that of other communities on the Cape Flats. An allegation there and a claim by Mansoor that he believes that firearms and illegal ammunition is pumped into their communities. And as much as he's saying that there are corrupt police officers, there are those good ones that are working in the community to rid this community of illegal firearms and ammunition. He also speaks of one of the challenges that they face outside of unemployment being the drug merchants that we usually see, that would basically be the backdrop of the turf wars that we see innocent people, children and women caught in crossfires. A very sad outcome in the community of Hanover Park, where 17s find themselves at the receiving end of escalating gang violence. Hopefully, the police will be able to give an update as far as any arrests have been made. Mansoor now saying that as a community, they're banding together, taking ownership of their streets once again, and hopefully will be able to have a name or two that they can hand over to the police, as we do know that they are currently investigating 7 counts of attempted murder following the shooting incident that happened in Galilee Walk last night around 9 p.m.